All right, so where we left off in the previous lecture is I gave you kind of like the end result of the data here. Really the most important piece of the data is this part here, that we have a reaction given some time, and we have a concentration, and we have manipulated that data around. So we can see that these are the changes in the concentration given a certain amount of time. We are trying to determine, based on this relationship that we see, does the reaction behave in a first order, zero order originally, and then first order and second order? At this moment, we just don't know. We can see these numbers, and we're going to graph it out and take a look and see how it looks on paper. And we'll get into more of that in a second with the calculator and see, okay, it's clearly behaving in a zero order reaction. In other words, it doesn't really matter what I do as far as changing the concentration initially. This is just one set of concentration with change in time. But this particular reaction is changing in concentration in a zero order manner. In other words, if I double the concentration, I could see how it would behave based on how this one is behaving. And the same thing goes with this. I could determine its first order or second order based on how it is behaving for this one particular reaction with its change in concentration, with a change in time. So before we go any further, let's bounce over to a calculator and get a couple things set up ahead of time. So first thing we'll do is dive into something called the diagnostics and make sure it's going to give us what's called an R value, which is the straightness of the line. So I'm going to hit the second and 0 button for catalog. And then notice it's got a little alpha button up here. I'm going to just go right over to D for diagnostics and press that, or I could just scroll down and that would be fine too. So I want diagnostics on. So, yep, that's what I want. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is jump into the stats, and I'm just going to set up the edit. I've already done some of this work ahead of time, so I'm kind of ready to go. I have put in the numbers that we just did in the previous lecture for list 1 and 2. Here is my time, and here is my concentration. So I just had to put those in manually. You just kind of put the numbers in, hit enter, and down it goes the list. For list 3, we can do this a little bit easier. See if I can remember this one. So for list 3, I want to take the natural log of all these. Now I can do this on paper and say natural log of this number and put it in and put it in and put it in. Or I can take a shortcut here and take the natural log of the whole list. I think that's a little bit easier. So I'm going to say natural log of list, and these guys right here in blue list the numbers on there. So I'll say second list 2, and there it is. It's done for list 3 in this case. We're going to do a list 4 as well. So I'll go up there and say list 4, I want to be the inverse of list 2. So I will say, I'll say list 2, second, and here's list 2. And then I'm going to do the inverse button. And there's list 4, which is from list 1. So fantastic, that's ready to go. Now that we have all our lists in the calculator, we can do a calculation. So we'll go over to Stat, Calculate, and we're looking for a linear regression. How good of a line is it, the y equals mx plus b thing? So we're going to do this, but we want to specifically look at list 1. I'll pull this over here. Long notes. Here we go. I want to look at time versus concentration, and then do time versus natural log, and then do time versus this. And then I'm going to be writing down, and you should write it down here as well. We will. The R value that goes along with it, which is how straight that line is. The straighter the line, the more linear the line, or the closer the R value is to 1 or -1. Doesn't matter positive or negative. The closer that number is to 1, the straighter the line. The straighter the line tells me that it is a better fit, meaning it matches that particular category best. Okay, let's give it a whirl. First, we're going to run list 1, comma, list 2. And looking at this one, my R value is 0.963. I'll just go 366, 0.963. And I'm just going to write that in here somewhere, it doesn't matter. Say R is equal to 0.963. All right, seems good enough. And so I'm going to bounce over and say, let's try to do a different one. And I'll go back to stat 4. No, I don't want to do that. Quit. Clear list. I don't want to do that. Got in a panic there for a second. I just had to delete. All good. I don't want to delete my whole list there. Okay, go back to, where is it? Stats. Clear. Here we go. Calculate linear regression. And this time I want to do list 1 versus list 3. So second, list 1, comma, second, list 3. And this time my R value is pretty good, 0.991. So I'll write that down. R is equal to, it happens to be negative, 0.991. Okay, fantastic. Let's try this one more time. So clear, stats, calculate for list 1, comma, list 4, 0.99, yeah, it's 1. R is equal to 1.00. Yeah, throw an extra sig figure value in there. So clearly this is going to be a second order reaction. So that's how it behaves. The first order was pretty close, but only after seeing the second order can we pretty much say that, yeah, this one definitely behaves in a second order fashion, meaning that line is pretty straight. So it's a second order reaction with that one reactant equation. Okay, so let's bounce over to our problems that we had left off before. And once we're done with that, we'll do a problem in another one in your homework. So let's grab our homework. And the one that we skipped before is we got to the bottom here and we got through A and B and we had this data in here and we have this reaction. So let's be clear first in reading this. Every reaction that we take a look at is in reference to something. It's like, what are we talking about here? Well, in this particular reaction, what we see is the appearance of NOBR. So here it is. So we have these reactants here. I don't know what's going on. I don't see anything. And then the reaction is like, oh, look, there's the NOBR. I can see that clearly. Stop the watch. So I can say that is how long it took to get there based upon that information. Let me blow this up a little bit, get a little closer. So this is the information we have. So let me go over to part C. It says, how is the rate of appearance of NOBR related to the rate of disappearance of BR2? So we're going to change our perspective a little bit on this problem. So we know it's been based upon NOBR, and that's just fine. That's just what the data is all based on. We're going to change our perspective. So writing down that equation just so we can see it is 2NO plus BR2 produces 2NOBR. And if we're talking about how these guys relate to each other, remember the coefficients become fractions. So we're going to say, I'll write just so we can see this clearly, is the disappearance of the concentration of BR2, and I'll put change, is related to the change in the time, is equal to 1/2, or the value over 2 for NOBR with the change in time. And again, that's simply based on the coefficients values. That's how these two are related to each other. That's it. That's the only thing it asks for. Okay, now given that information, what is the rate of disappearance of Br2 when I have these concentrations? This is simply us going back to the previous problem, I think it was B, and just plugging in values for what we had in that particular problem, and then relating it based upon how it is normally perceived for NOBR in regards to this. Now this is already set up, so if I'm asking to solve a problem based upon this, here's everything I need to know. So I'm going to set my rate law with the addition of the 1/2. So for example, let's say I had a 2 over here. I would need to isolate and get rid of those coefficient values and bring the 2 over to here. Or if I wanted to work off this, I'd bring the 2 over there. But this is how I want to express it. It is isolated. It's all by itself. There's no coefficients. I would bring that over to here. Okay, so let me set that up for you. And I'll go with the rate is equal to, and I'm going to put the R value, or excuse me, the K value right in here. It was 12,000. Molarity 2 minus per second. I will put in the concentrations that it's giving us, 0.075. Based on the rate law, that is squared, and 0.25. That's to the first order. And just to make this easier, this is everything that I would need, but I am going to go ahead and put in the 1/2 now, just to be done with it. Because I don't want to express how it normally is expressed, and this data normally is expressed simply as that. But with the addition of the 1/2 relationship, that is now in regards to this. And if I get an answer for that, that is 8.4 polarity.